Malfoy successfully created a clone with the assistance of number 24. Curious, number 24 asked, "Is this one also going to the insect room?" Malfoy shook his head. "No, this sample is different. I need to work on it personally for a while to perfect it." Suddenly, the cloning pod opened, and a mass of flesh emerged, beginning to transform. Watching intently, number 24 questioned, "Isn't this just another clone? What makes it different?" Malfoy responded with a grin, "Because this time I separated part of my own essence and infused it into the clone. In some ways, he is me." The clone continued its transformation, eventually taking the shape of a younger version of Malfoy. A short time later, the older Malfoy began testing his clone's abilities. Number 24 addressed the clones, "If you win, you'll leave the insect room and be free. Let the battle begin." With that, the monstrous Malfoy lunged forward, snaking his distorted limbs towards the younger version of Malfoy. However, the young Malfoy swiftly dodged the attack and cast a spell of corpse magic, transforming his arm into a monstrous limb to counterattack. But the monster Malfoy stretched his grotesque hands and squeezed the young Malfoy like a mosquito. Number 24 remarked, "Has it already won?" as expected from the strongest clone, the one who has won 10 consecutive insect battles. But Malfoy, watching closely, said calmly, "Only the survival of the fittest will reveal the strongest. It's not over yet." Suddenly, something unusual began to happen to the young Malfoy's body. The monster Malfoy, confused, realized he couldn't move. "Has he taken control of my corpse cells?" he wondered. In the next moment, the young Malfoy unleashed a surge of corpse magic, tearing through the monster Malfoy's limbs, ultimately killing him. Old Malfoy nodded approvingly. "Good, he's mastered it completely." After eliminating the monster Malfoy, the young Malfoy retracted his corpse magic and approached the older Malfoy, kneeling before him. The older Malfoy looked down at him and said, "Now that you've inherited my corpse magic, I'll teach you how to harness technology and control the dark gears. Soon, you'll become the perfect clone and master all my abilities. You'll lead the invasion of the elf tribe and investigate for me." Number 24, standing nearby, suggested, "Why not create more of these perfect clones to invade other places as well?" Malfoy, however, shook his head. "The only flaw of the perfect clone is that it can't be mass-produced. If I divide myself too much, I'll no longer be me, but you're different. The nature I've given you is the humbleness I once despised the most," old Malfoy said. "Only with you here can I become the perfect me. Now, I have no more doubts. I no longer feel unworthy of master." But when the young Malfoy laid eyes on the clone of Elizabeth inside the cloning pod, a surge of rage overtook him. His eyes burned red with fury as he prepared to strike, intent on killing the Elizabeth clone. Sensing his violent intent, number 24 warned him, "Be careful, there's an electric current charging within his body." Ignoring the warning, young Malfoy leapt into the air, unleashing his corpse magic, aiming to destroy the clone. However, old Malfoy intervened, his voice cold and commanding, "Know your place." At those words, the young Malfoy's body seized up, paralyzed, and he crashed to the ground. Old Malfoy looked down at him and said, "I understand the humbleness within you, born from never receiving love, and I see your strong hatred. But you must remember your purpose." Struggling on the ground, young Malfoy asked, "What do you mean, my purpose?" Old Malfoy responded sharply, "You are nothing more than a tool that exists to help me achieve what I desire." In the present, the young Malfoy stood before Elizabeth and said with conviction, "After decades of lurking, I've finally figured it out. My purpose of living. I'm not a tool, I am me. I hold my own power. One day, I'll replace the original and kill you, then live as I choose." Upon hearing his declaration, Leping turned to Elizabeth and asked nervously, "Did you offend someone in the past and forget about it?" Elizabeth, unfazed, replied, "Maybe. I don't recall." Leping's fear deepened. It makes sense, he thought. Elizabeth must have made countless enemies while becoming the ruler of the world. And now, while I'm under her protection, does that make me a target for revenge as well? It seems hiding my identity is crucial. Elizabeth, noticing the worry on Leping's face, spoke calmly. So, the elf tribe has fallen to this state. Are you not concerned that the plan to sow will fail? She paused, reflecting. It seems there are no longer any promising candidates in the elf tribe who could be developed to aid you in the future. Leping awkwardly said to Elizabeth, "How can I focus on such trivial matters right now?" He thought to himself. If you want to sow, go do it in the fields at home. Let's deal with that later. However, he advised Elizabeth, it's better if you resolve this. After all, isn't that why you're here? Elizabeth's eyes flashed with anger. Did he expect me to clean up the mess from the start? Does he think he knows everything about the outside world? She thought. Leping, sensing her frustration, added, Elif and Uncle Boss are still captives. Maybe it'd be better if you took the lead and communicated with them first. There could be a misunderstanding from the past, right? Elizabeth snapped back. A misunderstanding? I don't even recall him at all. How can we be sure he hasn't mistaken me for someone else? Watching their escalating argument, Malfoy grew impatient. His voice boomed. Enough. Stop rambling. Were you even listening to me? I am Wes Malfoy, remember. Elizabeth, unbothered, raised an eyebrow. Oh, so you're with the Dark Guild. Leping, equally surprised, exclaimed, The Dark Guild? Malfoy's anger flared. It doesn't matter, whether it's you or my other self. I don't need to prove anything to either of you. You're both going to die. Even though the hero severed my corpse magic, I still wield the power of the elves and the dark gears. With that, Malfoy unleashed his attack, summoning the sacred tree's whip to strike. Elizabeth's eyes sharpened with resolve as she said, If you really are him, then it's time for me to step in. She summoned her demonic hand, piercing through the sacred tree's whip and effortlessly captured Malfoy. Leping, worried, called out, Elizabeth, just make sure you don't hurt Uncle Boss and Elif. Elizabeth, maintaining her firm grip on Malfoy, reassured him, Don't worry, I won't harm your chess pieces. She swiftly extracted Uncle Boss and Elif, ensuring their safety. Malfoy, now completely immobilized by Elizabeth's overwhelming strength, struggled to break free. Elizabeth tightened her grip, her voice sharp. Why are you here, and where's Emilia? I've heard rumors about you reviving her. What's going on? The young Malfoy, his expression twisted, replied, Because of my respect and fear for you, I've also developed love and humbleness. Those complex emotions, combined with my distorted feelings, have created this well of negative energy within me. I was created as a tool to pursue you, but if I bring your body to him, would that finally break him? Elizabeth's eyes narrowed, her patience wearing thin. She squeezed harder, causing Malfoy to scream in agony. Enough of this nonsense, she growled. Don't make me ask you twice. Despite his pain, Malfoy grinned, his voice trembling. I finally understand. What's so great about you? Nothing. In fact, I only have deep hatred for you. As long as you exist, I will never find my true purpose. So, no matter the cost. With those words, Malfoy pulled a card from his mouth and summoned a monstrous entity, its form towering above them. Stunned, Elizabeth realized that the aura emanating from the being in front of her was from the demon god realm. The last card Malfoy had been hiding was none other than the Joker card, a supreme clown king and a 3-star demon god. The entity introduced himself as King Bomb. King Bomb turned to Malfoy and asked, Have you made up your mind? Let me torture your soul for 100 years, and in return, I will grant you one wish. Malfoy, uncaring of what would happen to him, replied coldly, Do whatever you want with my soul, but kill both of them in front of me. The Joker King grinned malevolently. A simple request. Consider it done. Elizabeth stepped forward, her expression sharp. You are also the ruler of a world, yet you bow to the whims of lesser beings. How pathetic. Although she knew she had an advantage in terms of magic, Elizabeth thought, I should start with defensive magic, just in case he has any special abilities. The Joker King laughed, his voice filled with cruel amusement. Rules are rules. I've been waiting for an opportunity to test my skills on you for so long. Why not take advantage of this perfect deal? We are both masters of dark magic, after all. Let's see who is truly superior. Without hesitation, Elizabeth cast a powerful spell, Forbidden Time Zone, which restricted her enemy's movements. However, to her shock, the Joker King countered by summoning his ace flying knives, launching them directly toward her. Elizabeth's eyes widened as she realized the Forbidden Time Zone isn't working on him. The Joker King smirked. Do you understand now? Magic and levels are merely for show. True power lies in the rules we follow, and mine are above yours. Upon hearing this, Elizabeth understood. So, these special abilities are based on rules. His superiority comes from the rules that govern his power, not just his magical strength. Thinking quickly, she called out, Leping! Leping turned toward Elizabeth, surprised. Did you call for me? The Joker King's eyes bulged, his jaw dropping open in disbelief. His entire demeanor changed as he gazed upon Leping, recognizing him instantly his creator. The ace flying knives, launched by the Joker King, hurtled toward Leping and Elizabeth. In a flash, the Joker King moved, positioning himself in front of them, blocking the knives with his own body. Blood dripped from his mouth and eyes, yet there was a look of satisfaction on his face. He had made it in time. Elizabeth's Forbidden Time Zone spell faded away. However, Malfoy, watching the scene unfold, did not look pleased. What just happened? He thought angrily. The Joker King approached Malfoy with fury in his voice. Damn it, you almost tricked me. Malfoy, bewildered, snapped back. What's wrong? Are you scared when you see Elizabeth? Kill them now. Our contract is complete. Without hesitation, the Joker King unleashed a beam of light from his mouth, incinerating Malfoy's body in an instant. A broken soul like yours is worth only a few dollars, he growled. And you wanted me to kill my own creator? After disposing of Malfoy, the Joker King turned to Leping and Elizabeth, his demeanor suddenly shifting to that of a loyal servant. The Black Magician merely wanted to stir up trouble. I agreed to tag along for some fun, he said humbly. Elizabeth, unimpressed, asked, Do you still wish to continue this fight? Leping, still confused, wondered aloud, Did that person just turn to ash? And who exactly are you talking to? Elizabeth, slightly taken aback, thought to herself, this one was malevolent to begin with. Not only did the magic fail to corrupt him, but it amplified Wes Malfoy's negative emotions instead. The Joker King, bowing respectfully, said, I have no intention of fighting you, Elizabeth. I didn't expect that after all this time, you and the Creator would be on such good terms. Please tell Master that I will never dare to misbehave again. I'll take my leave now. With those words, he vanished, returning to his card form. Leping, watching this unfold, muttered, Are those the playing cards I gave to Uncle Perce again? Elizabeth, turning to him, said, You underestimate the potential harm ordinary objects can cause in the hands of the wrong people. If these cards fall into malicious hands, the consequences could be dire. Leping, still puzzled, asked, What does this have to do with my poker cards? They were fine when Uncle Perce had them. His thoughts raced. It's like this every time. The magic world is so deep and complex. Without magic, I can't see or understand what's really happening. Elizabeth gave a faint smile. Let's say your right poker cards are just an introduction. The user, however, is key. Those with ill intentions will only bring about their own downfall. But when used with good intentions, one can unlock the power of the 13 sacred warriors. Otherwise, they will succumb to dark magic. Her attention shifted, noticing the elder's body. Twyla is dead, she thought. In just 500 years, the elven tribe has fallen to this state. I'd better find out what happened here. With a wave of her hand, she brought Elif and Burse back to their feet. Their eyes were hollow, like soulless husks, their life force drained. Elizabeth commanded them, "Tell me everything that happened here." They tried to respond, their voices trembling, but they could barely speak. Seeing their struggle, Leping stepped forward and said, "Wait a moment." He raised his voice, calling out, "Uncle Burse and the others have been tortured by the bad guys. Let me give them some water first." Leping took a water bottle from his bag and poured it on them. As they drank, their bodies began to heal instantly. Leping, surprised, thought, "They're recovering." Fortunately, they have a foundation in magic. Miss Zhizhe had the same experience last time she recovered after just drinking some water. I'm so envious of her. Immediately after their recovery, both Elif and Burse knelt before Leping, saying, "We deserve death for alarming the Demon Queen and Mr. Leping. If you wish to punish someone, punish me. It was my overconfidence that led to this disaster. I am willing to take full responsibility," Burse added with remorse. Leping waved them off and said, "Don't worry. Just get up and tell me what happened here." Burse, still visibly shaken, replied, "The elf tribe has been corrupted by the Dark Guild. I fell for their tricks, which led to Mr. Leping's noble phantasm card falling into their hands. We were captured, our magic was drained, and then, I can't remember what happened after that." He continued, "The clown sacrificed countless lives to corrupt the treasure card. After that, I lost my mind." Elizabeth observed them closely and remarked, "Your condition is likely an after-effect of having your memories stolen." Leping, concerned, asked Elizabeth, "What should we do now?" Elizabeth responded calmly, "Don't worry. I'll use the same method to plunder those memories back." She then cast forced memory extraction on both of them. As their memories were forcefully extracted, their bodies once again became drained, and they collapsed to the ground. Panicked, Leping shouted, "Elizabeth, why did you drain them again?" Unfazed, Elizabeth absorbed their memories. Leping asked anxiously, "Did you find anything new?" Elizabeth shook her head, replying, "No. What they said earlier is basically all they know." However, her curiosity piqued, and she added, "The entire elf tribe is on the verge of collapse. Where can we get more information now? Twyla sacrificed herself for her people. She didn't betray my will. But the leadership of the elf tribe is getting weaker." Suddenly, an elf emerged from the ground and spoke, "I can tell you what happened here." Both Elizabeth and Leping turned to see the figure. Leping immediately recognized her. "Isn't that the one who attacked us before?" The elf stepped forward, revealing herself. "I am Blanchet," she said, "Demon Queen Elizabeth and the legendary hero. After you killed Ves Malfoy's clone, I was freed from his control." Leping approached excitedly. "That's great." But Elizabeth stopped him, her eyes narrowing. "Why should I believe you?" To prove her sincerity, Blanchet removed her eye patch, revealing a dark gear embedded in her right eye. She then pulled the gear out with her hand and handed it to Elizabeth. Leping was horrified as he watched Blanchet dig the dark gear out of her eye. Elizabeth, studying the gear, remarked, "Aren't these the gears of the Dark Guild, infused with evil magic?" Blanchet nodded. "I've removed the gear, so you can trust me now, right?" But Elizabeth wasn't convinced. "I'll believe it when I see it with my own eyes." Without hesitation, Elizabeth used forced memory extraction on Blanchet, pulling her memories to the surface. Blanchet's body drained of energy, and she collapsed to the ground. Leping, alarmed, hurried to get the water bottle to help her, but Elizabeth stopped him, grabbing his arm. "This time, you're going to watch it with me," she said firmly. As they peered into Blanchet's memories, they saw the truth. After Malfoy had taken control of the elf tribe, he fused his dark power with the world tree, causing it to grow ugly, corrupted fruits. He ordered the tribe's elders to distribute the fruits to all members of the tribe. Anyone who ate the fruit became one of Malfoy's puppets. When Blanchet discovered this, she tried to destroy the world tree, but she was caught by Malfoy. He gouged out her right eye and implanted a dark gear in its place, taking complete control over her. From then on, Blanchet became Malfoy's puppet, selecting high-quality elves to be sacrificed to the Dark Guild. The tribe's elders, already Malfoy's puppets, aided in the plan. Everything Blanchet did the attack on Elizabeth and others was due to the dark gear controlling her. When Elizabeth had killed her during their fight, Blanchet was merely following orders. After Elizabeth left, a 5-star demon lord, known as the Cartoon Shooter, appeared and shot a healing arrow into Blanchet's body, reviving her wounds. That was how she survived. After the memory vision ended, the group slowly gathered, and Leping handed out food to help them recover their energy. Elizabeth, still furious, cursed under her breath. "Damn it, unforgivable. I told you that the sucking konjac was prepared for me, but you gave it to someone else." Leping smiled, trying to calm her. "Don't be angry. I'll make it for you again when we get home. Let's focus on replenishing our energy first." Elif, bright-eyed, said, "Dad, after eating this, my magic level will increase again, right?" Burse nodded, proudly. "Of course, this is Mr. Leping's recipe. It's powerful." As they ate, Burse noticed a familiar figure and gasped, "Master Sword Saint, what are you doing here?" The Sword Saint, now humble, replied, "I'm no longer the Sword Saint. I serve the brave man and the Demon King now, so please don't call me by that title anymore. Besides, I'm starving. No matter how much I eat, it feels like my body is still hollowed out." It's the cartoon elf who healed Blanchet's wounds. She originally wanted to secretly rescue the father and daughter, but now it's no longer necessary. They can speak face to face. With that, Blanchet handed over a deck of cards to Elif. Upon seeing them, Elif's eyes widened. "This is 4 bombs, Holy Archer. What do you mean by face-to-face chat?" As she spoke, suddenly, an elf spirit materialized in front of them. Both Burse and Elif were shocked, their eyes wide with disbelief.